Here we go with another wax pack a day, showing you what we got so far. So still looking to complete those sets. Looking for more rookies. Did hit a Tiger last time in Steve Cersei, but let's see what we got on our pack today. Right here is our 1990 Fleer pack of the day. Let's see what we have in this one. Looking for those guys on the last slide and in the back. Our quiz: what was the original name of the California Angels? The Anaheim Angels of Los Angeles of California. No, it's just the Los Angeles Angels, according to this. Got that sticker. All right, let's look at our cards. Carney Lansford, Mike Marullo, Joe Oliver, Tom Foley, Harold Reynolds, Kevin Mitchell, checklist, boo, Sid Bream, Henry Cotto. I feel like we've got a few Henry Cottos in this. Vince Coleman, Rick Cerrone, Tony Phillips, eventually was a Tiger. Yeah, after this. John Kruk, all-time great announcer. Listen to some of his clips. Mookie Wilson, the guy famous for hitting that ball through the legs of Bill Buckner in the '86 World Series. And check that out, Bobby Bonilla. That is on the list, I'm pretty sure. Number 462. We got one, guys. We got our Bobby Bonilla. All right. Right here is our 1990. Indeed. We got our Bobby Bonilla. I am probably the most excited guy to have Bobby Bonilla since the 1992 Mets. But let's look at his stats like we do, and then we'll talk a little bit more about him. This is actually one I've kind of been looking forward to. I think that Bobby Bonilla defines Hall of Very Good. Didn't hit like 300 home runs, didn't get to 300 home runs, which is a low bar for Hall of Fame. Anyways, got to 2,000 hits, but he played a long time. I think he was very, very good, especially for a stretch from like 87 to maybe like 95 ish. He was very good. But definitely not a Hall of Famer. If he ever makes the Hall of Fame, I'll be really surprised. As you can see, though, if you look at 1988 to 91, he made the All-Star game 4 straight years, made it again in 93 and again in 95. He statistically was pretty dang good. Led the league in doubles. Also, in 1989, the Pirates must have played a play-in game because he had 163 games, which doesn't happen unless you have that tiebreaker game. That's what I'm looking for. Never hit more than 34 home runs. Never had more than 120 RBIs. A couple pretty elite years, but again, overall, I don't think he was like an elite player, not a Hall of Fame, but pretty good. You want him in your lineup, especially in the late 80s, early 90s. You see at the end of his career after 97, he won the World Series with the Marlins on that 97 team and then was part of the fire sale. 28 games with them in 98. The next year, traded to LA. He might have been part of that Mike Piazza trade. I'm not totally sure on that. But yeah, then he bounced around. So Florida to LA, back to the Mets in 99, to the Braves, and to the Cardinals. He said he retired due to playing time, 93 games with the Cardinals. I think he saw the writing on the wall. I think he declined as a player a lot. You had the last 4 years of his career all negative WAR. That's not super common. That's pretty bad, Bobby. So rough start to his career. He actually was drafted by Pittsburgh, I read, and then traded to the White Sox after, not traded. So he broke his leg. Kind of like they didn't see a way to promote him. So the White Sox chose him with the Rule 5 pick. So with a Rule 5 pick, you have to be on the roster. So he was put on the White Sox roster and then traded back to Pittsburgh that year. So they must have really liked him in that organization. So I wonder how that broken leg affected the beginning of his career. But with Bobby Bonilla, we have to talk about Bobby Bonilla Day. If you're a baseball fan, you probably know about this. If this is the first you're ever hearing about it, well, let's read. Um, so what the heck is Bobby Bonilla Day? He gets paid 1.19 million every July 1st by the Mets. He actually also gets paid $500,000 from the Orioles with another buyout agreement. But they agreed to buy out the Mets in 2000, agreed to buy out the remaining $5.9 million on Bonilla's contract. So instead of giving him that $6 million, they give him $1.19 million. Hey, including a negotiate 8% interest. I don't know how to do that math. I'm sure somebody really smart does. But mathematically, $1.2 million times 5 is about $6 million. So in 5 years, that would have paid off. But they decided to pay him $20 million more dollars. And part of this is because the Mets were owned by Bernie Madoff. No. That's not true. Fred Wilpon, the owner of the Mets, owner, like their group, it's not just one guy, was in the Bernie Madoff Ponzi scheme that promised double-digit returns. And the Mets were poised to make a significant profit if the Madoff account delivered, but that did not work out, obviously, because Bernie Madoff is in prison. That's a deep dive I would love to do someday, but that's not really what I'm here for yet and not what I'm prepared for. But yeah, so Bobby Bonilla gets paid 1.2, let's just round up, $1.2 million every July 1st, and that goes until 2036. Because 11 plus 25 is 36. So let's do a little recap. So he gets paid that 1.19 million every July 1st until 2035 by the Mets. He was a 6-time All-Star and a World Series champ with the Marlins. Hall of Very Good. I'm dubbing it. He's the first official guy because Dave Parker was the last official guy, and he's just a Hall of Famer, not just a Hall of Very Good. And then he also gets paid $500,000 by the Orioles every year for about 3 more years, but that payment started in 2004. So he makes $1.7 million as a retiree. So, a lot of athletes go broke. I would guess that Bobby Bonilla is not, and athletes do better. I just listened to an interview with Willie Cauley-Stein that was like, bro, you made $21 million. It's hard to feel bad for you. But I understand there is an education aspect to it and a youth aspect, and things are always more complicated than they seem. Just like Bobby Bonilla. Way to wrap that up, right? Well, that's the episode today. I hope you enjoyed it. I believe there are short documentaries about Bonilla. Really interesting guy, pretty solid player throughout his career. But yeah, that's his episode on a wax pack a day. Over and out.